Thank you. I apologize for having to be here very briefly. I just walked out of a hearing on local enforcement of immigration laws, and I have to get back to it as quickly as possible. Thank you for having me here. I want to thank Hayes and all of the other Jewish organizations that have come here today and been part of the Progress by Pesach campaign, which shows support for comprehensive immigration reform. This support for comprehensive immigration reform comes from the Jewish community because the Jewish community understands that the system is broken. Just this morning, for example, I am participating in a Judiciary Committee hearing which has been showing very starkly the discriminatory enforcement of our immigration laws by state, I will say the discriminatory and racist enforcement of our immigration laws by state and local enforcement in too many cases. What we heard this morning, what we will hear as the hearing progresses, has been very disturbing. We need to fix not only how our immigration laws are enforced, to protect civil liberties, to protect decent treatment of citizens, of residents, of immigrants. We need to fix the entire immigration system. Currently, families are broken apart, parents separated from children, American citizens denied their parents, husbands torn from wives, hard workers denied jobs, and people live in fear. People who are undocumented aliens, people who are documented aliens, people who are American citizens live in fear from improper law enforcement. It is time to bring people out of the shadows, to unite families, and to provide simple due process of law in accord with American traditions. It is time to reaffirm our nation as one which welcomes immigrants, as is so wonderfully symbolized by the Statue of Liberty in my district. It is time to say to the 12 million undocumented immigrants in this country, who we depend on for their work, who wouldn't be here if the economy did not demand most of their presences, that we will give you a path to citizenship to regularize your status. A path, not a path without price, because if you're undocumented, you didn't come in accordance with with the law, but nonetheless there must be a path. This country is not going to deport 12 million people, no matter what the demagogues say. It is inhuman, and it's impractical. It's just not going to happen. So rather than rely on a fantasy, which is not going to happen and which tortures so many, many millions of people in the meantime, we ought to have a path to citizenship so people can come out of the shadows, so they can complain when their lives are torn apart by broken laws, so they can complain when they see laws being broken against others, so that our laws can be enforced and our standards maintained. We will be working hard, along with others in Congress and with the President, to see comprehensive immigration reform enacted. We'll be working hard to see that that reform includes a path to citizenship for the undocumented immigrants. We will be working to see that that reform includes proper provision of due process protections where it isn't given now. For example, under so-called expedited removal procedures, people who come to this country with legitimate fears of persecution for political and request political asylum are treated worse. They're assumed, if they don't have the proper documents, because they fled one step ahead of the Gestapo or the KGB or the Savak, and they don't have proper, or whatever the current secret police is named, if they don't have proper documents signed and duly notarized by the KGB or the Gestapo or the Savak, that they should be deported. This is simply wrong. It's against common sense. It's against fundamental fairness. So we have to change our laws. We have to change our laws, hopefully, in this Congress. And we will be working to see that our laws are changed so that our laws reflect the goodness of the American people, our traditions of civil liberties and due process, and our traditions as a welcoming and humane country. Thank you very much.